The tribe of Dan was one of the original 12 tribes of Israel. And then it disappeared from the Bible. But its name shows up again in the Danube River, in Denmark, and in Irish legends. After the time of King Solomon, the kingdom of Israel split into two parts. The northern part kept the name Israel, and the southern part became Judah. This division weakened the people politically and spiritually. The northern kingdom, where the tribe of Dan belonged, quickly fell into instability. Kings came and went, many of them disobeying God's laws. The kingdom often turned to idol worship and foreign alliances, which made them vulnerable. But this new kingdom did not last long. Around 722 BC, the powerful Assyrian Empire invaded and conquered the northern tribes. The Assyrians were known for their brutal tactics, mass deportations, forced labor, and population mixing. Many Israelites were taken away into exile. Others fled to avoid capture. Some simply disappeared from the records. This event became known as the scattering of the lost tribes of Israel. Dan was one of those tribes. But while most of the scattered tribes left little trace, the tribe of Dan may have had an advantage that helped them survive. Unlike the others, the Danites were known for something special. They knew how to travel by sea. In the book of Judges, chapter 5, there is a line that says, "And why did Dan remain in ships?" This short sentence tells us something important. While other tribes stayed on land, Dan had experience with boats and ships. They may have worked as traders, fishermen, or sailors. Some may have even lived part of their lives along the coast or on the water itself. This skill made them different. It gave them mobility when others were trapped. When the Assyrians came, many tribes had nowhere to go. But the Danites may have taken to the water. They could have escaped by sea. And they may have sailed away, possibly in many directions. But if Dan escaped by sea, where did they go? Did they settle in nearby lands? Did they cross the Mediterranean? In time, strange clues began to appear, not in the Middle East, but across Europe. Many researchers noticed something curious. Some of the biggest rivers, regions, and people groups in Europe carried names that sounded like Dan. The Danube River, which flows through Central and Eastern Europe, has held that name since ancient times. Some ancient texts even call it Danuvius, which may share the same root. In the far north, the Danish people still live in a country called Denmark, which literally means Mark of Dan. Some scholars suggest that early settlers there may have named the land after their tribal identity. And in Ireland, old legends speak of a mysterious people called the Tuatha De Danann, translated as the tribe of the goddess Danu. They were said to be wise rulers linked to serpents and transformation. Were these just random similarities? Or could they point to something more? Language and place names often carry hidden stories. When the same root appears in multiple regions, it can suggest shared origins or migrations. And as more evidence was studied, the pattern grew stronger. In several ancient European cultures, powerful leaders and clans had names like Dan, Dana, or Danu. These names often showed up in places of authority and tradition. Some were tied to rulers or elite classes, others to priestly or warrior groups. It didn't seem like these groups were poor wanderers. In fact, it looked like they came with skills. But that's not all. Alongside the names, symbols began to appear too, some of them deeply tied to the tribe of Dan. In Italy and Scandinavia, noble families used serpents in their coat of arms as signs of power and judgment. In some cases, the serpent wrapped around swords, shields, or royal crests, suggesting a connection to justice, cunning, and authority. Archaeology supports these ideas. Across parts of Europe, tools and weapons from this period show sudden advances in metalworking. In some areas, there's evidence of copper and bronze work that appears more refined than local traditions. Complex laws and social systems began to appear in regions where such order hadn't existed before. Some regions also developed new religious or ritual practices, possibly brought by newcomers. In coastal areas, we find signs of long-distance trade and navigation, pointing to people who knew how to sail, organize commerce, and build new societies. And after everything we've seen, the tribe of Dan's mysterious disappearance, their strange symbols showing up in Europe, and their possible influence on kingdoms and legends, many researchers began asking a serious question. What if Dan wasn't forgotten by accident but on purpose? Some historians and Bible scholars believe that the identity of the tribe of Dan may have been erased deliberately. The reason? Because if Dan really became part of Europe's royal families, or helped shape early civilizations with their knowledge of navigation, metalwork, and law, it would change the stories that both religion and politics have told for thousands of years. For example, if rulers in Ireland, Denmark, or France came from a Hebrew tribe, it would connect European history directly to the Bible in a way that many people never expected. This could challenge both religious traditions that claim Dan was lost forever, and political traditions that teach those kingdoms rose independently. That kind of connection might make some historians, and even governments, uncomfortable. It's also important to remember that history is often written by the winners. When new leaders or empires take power, they sometimes try to hide or change the past. Maybe Dan's symbols were reused, but the name of the tribe was taken out of official records, so no one would ask too many questions. Some early Christian writers called Dan dangerous. Others accused them of idolatry or betrayal. Over time, these ideas could have helped justify erasing Dan's story from the Bible's most important ending, Revelation. But here's something to think about. Why erase a tribe, unless they were never truly gone? Maybe Dan didn't vanish. Maybe they just became harder to recognize. Some researchers believe the tribe of Dan never truly vanished. They think the tribe survived by embedding its identity into symbols, which were later adopted by secret groups and hidden traditions. Let's go back to the time of the Knights Templar. These warrior monks lived during the Middle Ages and became one of the most powerful groups in Europe. They protected Christian pilgrims, built castles, and even managed money like early bankers. Their influence stretched across continents, but they were also connected to many mysterious stories, including rumors that they discovered ancient relics and hidden truths buried in the Holy Land. Some believe the Templars discovered ancient knowledge, possibly even connected to the tribe of Dan. This theory suggests that during their time in Jerusalem, they may have come across scrolls, artifacts, or teachings preserved from the lost tribes. The Templars also used certain symbols like the serpent, the scales, and the compass. Could the Templars have found something they weren't supposed to? Something tied to an ancient tribe that was erased from official history? In the 1300s, the Templars were attacked by kings and church leaders. Many were arrested, and the group was officially shut down. But some believe their ideas and symbols didn't die. Instead, they were passed on to another group, the Freemasons. The Freemasons are a secretive society that became very popular in Europe after the Middle Ages. They use many symbols, like the square and compass, the all-seeing eye, and twin pillars. Some of these are also found in old stories about Dan, especially the idea of building, judging, and guarding knowledge. But that's not all. During the same period, strange books began to appear. These were called alchemical texts. Alchemy was a mix of science, magic, and philosophy. Alchemists wanted to turn metal into gold, find eternal life, and unlock the secrets of the universe. These goals sound mythical, but they were taken seriously in secret circles. These books were filled with strange pictures of hidden stars and codes that only a few people could read. However, what matters for this story is that in many of these books, They often illustrated serpents biting their own tails. Sounds familiar? But there is an even stranger theory. While many people believe the tribe of Dan went north into Europe, others think some of them went south into Africa. These ideas come from real communities that exist today, and what they say about their past is truly surprising. One of the most well-known groups is the Beta Israel, or Ethiopian Jews. For centuries, they lived in the mountains of Ethiopia, following ancient Hebrew laws. They kept the Sabbath, avoided certain foods, and celebrated feasts that came from the Old Testament. They even claimed they were part of the tribe of Dan, a group that left Israel during times of war and settled in Africa. Another group is the Igbo people of Nigeria. Some Igbo families believe they are descended from ancient Israelites too. They also practice male circumcision on the 8th day, avoid pork, and celebrate traditions that are very similar to Jewish customs. Some of them even say they are from Dan's tribe. Then there's the Lemba tribe of southern Africa. Like the others, the Lemba keep Hebrew-style laws, celebrate sacred days, and have a priestly group called the Buba, which reminds some scholars of the ancient Jewish priesthood. What's even more interesting is that DNA tests have shown that many Lemba men carry a special genetic marker also found in Jewish priests from the Middle East. So, is this proof that the tribe of Dan went to Africa? Not quite. Scientists agree that these groups likely have ancient Middle Eastern roots. But when it comes to proving exactly which tribe they came from, like Dan, Levi, or another one, it gets difficult. Too much time has passed. People have moved, mixed, and changed. Oral stories can fade. Genetic evidence can only tell us part of the picture. Still, the signs are there. If the tribe of Dan traveled by ship, maybe they didn't just go north into Europe. Maybe some of them sailed south, into Africa. Maybe the Serpent Trail was never in just one place. So yes, the Bible stops mentioning the tribe of Dan after a certain point, but that definitely doesn't mean they were lost forever. Just think about it. The tribe of Dan had special skills. At that time, much of Europe was not very developed, and those skills would have been valuable not just for survival, but for building more advanced societies. A group like that wouldn't simply disappear. They would be welcomed by other cultures or blend in and slowly shape the people around them. So, what do you think happened to the tribe of Dan? Let us know in the comments. And if you know of any clues we didn't mention, we'd love to hear them.